Hi, good morning. My name is Young Kwok. I'm a professor of radiation oncology at University of Maryland. Gene, that was an excellent talk. I'm a member of the CCF Scientific Advisory Board. Thanks, Jeff. And I first got to meet Will and Eileen Mumford in 2017 when we first met for proton therapy. I'm honored to introduce you to Will, and who will share his journey, who's now a high school graduate. Please, Will, take it away. Where is he?
In 2017, I turned 14 and it was shaping up to be a great year. My oldest brother, Thomas, was living in Spain for a semester of study abroad, and we went to see him in Madrid in April. We then traveled to London for a few days, where we saw all the highlights. It was a great trip, and I hope to get to see more of the world in the future. That summer, I went to Philmont, New Mexico for a 15-day hiking trip. I had trained for months, and I felt like I was in very good shape. After Philmont, my family went on our annual trip to Bethany Beach, Delaware, with my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. My mom noticed that I was sleeping a lot around that time, but we thought it was because I had a really busy summer. I'd also been having headaches on and off, and we thought it was because I needed glasses. The evening of August 24th, I had a terrible headache. I was throwing up, and I couldn't tolerate any light. My mom called a neighbor who was a nurse at Hopkins and called the pediatrician's after-hours line, and they both suggested I had a migraine. The next day, we went to the doctor's office. My doctor examined me and shined a light in my eyes. She sent us to get an MRI in Annapolis. The MRI showed a huge tumor near my pituitary. We were sent directly to Johns Hopkins Hospital, where I stayed for 2 weeks. I had a 10-hour surgery to remove a 4-centimeter craniopharyngioma tumor. I missed the first 5 weeks of my freshman year of high school. 3 months later, just before Christmas, an MRI showed that the tumor was regrowing. I started proton radiation at the Maryland Proton Treatment Center on January 2nd. I had 29 sessions of proton radiation, 5 days a week for nearly 6 weeks. I was able to attend school nearly every day and go for radiation in the evening and afternoon. Craniopharyngioma is a rare, low-grade brain tumor that grows near the pituitary gland. I now have no pituitary function and take medicine to replace thyroid hormones. I take desmopressin for diabetes insipidus, hydrocortisone for adrenal insufficiency, and I also take growth hormone, testosterone, and many other meds to help with issues from my tumor. I deal with fatigue, heat sensitivity, and hypothalamic obesity. While I used to read for fun all the time, I now can't concentrate on books. AP World History and other classes have been very difficult to get through with all the reading. I was lucky, though, that I was spared a lot of the cognitive and memory issues that often occur. Some kids experience extreme behavior changes and memory loss. My main interest is art. I love doing pottery, jewelry making, sculpture, photography, and more. I've been very active in young adult brain tumor support groups and activities, and I'm currently learning how to mentor other pediatric brain tumor survivors. I've had a lot of interactions with other brain tumor survivors, and I see how damaging and devastating a brain tumor can be. I am so relieved to be through with this school year. When my mom asked me if I had finished my homework, I responded, "It's all homework." This school year, I completed a project for my leadership class at my school's Leadership Institute and raised funds and awareness for a local young adult cancer group, managed to survive AP Calculus, and finished my AP Spanish Literature class, which we started off by reading 15th century poetry in Spanish. I'll be starting at Anne Arundel Community College in the fall, and I'm really excited to have a pottery class 4 hours each week. I haven't decided on a major or where I'll go after Anne Arundel Community College, but we've been talking a lot about our trip to Spain, and I hope we get to go back there at some point.
Okay, I'm Eileen Mumford, Will's mom and advocate. Thank you, Dr. Kwok, for your introduction. It was really nice to see you. We haven't seen you recently. I'll start my part. This August will mark 4 years since Will's diagnosis. I'm glad he and I get along so well because we spend so much time together, especially during his treatment and radiation. Will graduating in a few days, and the fatigue, missing classes for doctor's appointments, and sometimes getting overwhelmed and frustrated have added to the difficulty of high school. Of course, his classes have been online due to Will's ongoing health issues. He's been more isolated than many of his peers. He got vaccinated the day after his 18th birthday, and we're starting to feel a bit more normal. A modified graduation and parent-organized prom are happening next week, next Wednesday. Having a tumor that occurs in only 2 or 3 people per million can make it difficult to find answers to some of the issues that come up. I'm thankful for our Facebook group, where I've gotten answers about his very low body temperature when he was ill, excessive dry skin on his scalp years after radiation, and I was also alerted to a pending shortage of 5 milligram hydrocortisone before it happened. So we were able to, get a script from his doctor for 10 milligram and cut it in half. It also gives me a window into what other families across the country and around the world are going through from this diagnosis, and other people who've lived with this tumor for decades. We've also met many other families with children with craniopharyngiomas, and also adults who've been living with craniopharyngioma for quite a few years. I'm very thankful to be in an area that's so rich in medical and research facilities. We drive about 20 minutes to the Maryland Proton Treatment Center for Will's 6-month MRI, and we're so thankful for Dr. Kwok, Kat, our nurse, Kiki, and Kamal. We really like to see them when we go there. The days leading up to his scans are very stressful for us, but we're also comforted by the staff and the care he's been shown over the years. We're also very aware of the benefits of proton over photon radiation. At one of Will's earliest meetings with Dr. Kwok, he told us that proton radiation was designed particularly for pediatric brain tumors. While Will was being treated in early 2018, a team from Manchester, England was training to use the equipment at MPT, and later opened the first Proton Treatment Center in the UK. And it kind of makes me happy to see kids in the UK posting on, or families posting on Facebook saying that their children will be treated there, because it's much easier than traveling to the United States, which they had to do previously. I read over the titles of all the research being presented today, and of course I do not understand any of it, but I feel that our family has some insight to research through Will's oldest brother, Thomas. Thomas is 24 and a PhD student at University of Pennsylvania in the bioengineering department, and his topic of study is optogenetics, and I don't understand any of that, but I love hearing him talk about it. It gives me hope to hear about his research and see how dedicated he and his friends are. And he's joined us at an annual conference that occurs at CHOP dealing with pediatric craniopharyngiomas and pituitary tumors. And I always send him emails if I read something and I don't understand it and I need more clarification. And even though he may not be totally understanding it, he can kind of usually give me a brief overview of things. Since Will's diagnosis, we've been involved with a lot of groups that deal with the issues that result from having a brain tumor, particularly craniopharyngioma. But we're very aware of the research side. Craniopharyngia is a low-grade tumor, and we're told that the difficulty in removing it results in so many of the problems, including blindness, cognitive issues, strokes, possibly damage to the pituitary and hypothalamus. We realized that if a less invasive way to remove the tumor existed, kids might be spared some of these problems. And we're thankful for Proton, because I'm sure that helps, with the future outcomes. Before COVID, we were going through the process of Will to participate in a drug trial dealing with hypothalamic obesity being conducted by the endocrine department at CHOP. Unfortunately, we didn't think it was safe to travel so often during the pandemic, but we hope to have some similar opportunities in the future. Thank you all for all you do and making a difference in our lives. And I just want to say how proud I am of Will for making it through high school and everything he's dealt with, especially through COVID. He's a lot more social than I am, and just not having those social interactions during COVID have been really difficult. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
much. Do we have any questions in the room? And we've got for the virtual participants, we have the question and answer app set up on the website, which will come through, and we'll be able to ask those for you here live. So, well, great. It looks like that was completely clear. Kurt?
What's the next sculpture?
So, for my Make-A-Wish, we've been planning a mural that we're hoping will be able to go up at the Washington Capitals practice arena. So that's the main thing I've been thinking about recently.
Yeah, it hasn't been approved yet, but we're hoping to. He'll be taking a pottery class over the summer. And then starting at the community college, he'll be doing pottery 4 hours a week, which is really, really exciting. But he does a lot of just different stuff all day long. He's always just kind of, shrinky dinks or just lots of different fun stuff.
Yeah, I like to do a lot of experimentation. So one year at art class, my teacher, one of our assignments, we had to try an experimental technique with pottery. And on the end of the slide, you said, "Ask Will if you need help." Like,
yeah,
that
so
made
he
me
was
very
kind of the
proud.
go-to experimental guy, always watching YouTube videos for different types of artwork. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.